Hello, I'm Brenda Martin with Inside Huntsville. Thanks for joining us today. Our weekly shows are to give you, our viewing audience, an opportunity to learn more about the city services available to you. As we all are aware, our children are now back in school, and that means we must be aware of how we are driving in and around our schools, both during the morning and afternoon hours. We are all familiar with the lady or man who guides our children across the busy streets, otherwise known as the public safety aides. In my day, of course, we referred to them as the school crossing guards. In the city of Huntsville, these important folks report to the Huntsville Police Department. And my guest today is Darlene Davis, who is the Safety Patrol Supervisor for the Public Safety Aides. Darlene, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Today, this is a very busy time, of course, for you and your public safety aides as you prepare for the many activities involved in the startup of the school year. Before I ask you to elaborate on that, how long have you been with the city in this division, and how did you become interested in this very important position?
Well, I've been with the city for 21 years, and I started when my children got older and were established in school. I became a public safety aide, or a school crossing guard, at Drake and Garth. That was my first position in 1993. And when one of the supervisors retired, I decided that I would apply so I could practice an interview. And as it turned out, I got the position, and I've been supervising since 1995.
You indicated before we got on air that you had some history about the public safety aides. Why don't you share that with us?
Well, in preparing to talk with you, I learned that our city school system, as we know it, started in 1875. Wow. And in April of 1930, when police officers were helping students across the street, the Boy Scouts were assisting them. So the program, as we know it, actually started in 1952. It was consisted of retired officers, or I don't know how else they chose them, but they did such a good job that in 1965, the chief of police at that time, Chief Dyer, recommended that they be sworn in and bonded and made police officers. So, and they carried a gun, they went through the academy.
Did they?
I don't know when this ended, but I do have a friend whose mother did it back then, and I remember him telling me that she carried a gun at the time.
No kidding.
I think they assisted with issuing tickets and also working recs and that type of thing. So at some point, I guess as the program grew, because we now have approximately 72 crossing guards and then 2 supervisors.
Is that right? 72 in the system now?
Yes, and we have been up into the 90s before. It's changed as schools have closed and reopened, and as we see the new schools being built, we'll be anxious to see where our needs will be at that time.
Well, now, how many crossing guards are at each school?
Every school has a different number according to their needs. It depends on the number of intersections and the amount of traffic, the turning movements that are involved.
Okay. Well, now, can you share with us what are the duties of the public safety aide?
Well, of course, their main concern is the safety of the children.
Sure.
And so they watch for them and prepare for them as they're coming up to the intersection and get everything stopped, hold everybody up, and get them across the street. And then over the years it has progressed. We direct an untold amount of traffic in each school zone. So we take care of the turns and the stops and of all the vehicular traffic, and then the students too.
Well, I can think of a number of benefits of this job, particularly if you love children. But why don't you share some of the other benefits that this part-time job involves?
Thank you. It is a part-time job. You work an average of 10 hours a week. Every time that you go to post, which could be an hour in the morning, you are paid for 2, and then in the afternoon you're paid for 2 hours. So that's a benefit in itself. When the school is out during the year for Christmas vacation and fall break and spring break and all of those days, you are off and paid.
Okay.
I don't know of another part-time job that gives paid vacation.
That's true.
Also, we provide all of the things that they need, their uniforms. Only thing they have to provide for themselves is black socks.
Talking about uniforms, you've got a few things here. Show us what they wear.
Okay, these are the tools of our trade. They're dressed like me, in the light blue shirt and the dark pants. Okay. They could have a baseball hat on. If it's raining, they're going to have a hat that looks similar to the Morton Salt girl's hat.
Okay.
Some of them wear a white visor. They will always have their vest on when they're in the street unless they're wearing the raincoat, and that's bright in itself. And we recommend that they always have a whistle on.
Oh, yes.
We use one long blast to stop traffic and two short blasts to start traffic.
Okay.
They're supposed to have their gloves on whenever they're in the
Are
street.
they always yellow or?
They're white, orange, or yellow.
Okay.
We have different, we have winter gloves and summer gloves, and actually we just get the best that we can for visibility.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Now, the benefits are great, but there's certainly an aspect of danger in this position. So tell us a little bit about that.
There is. You're battling against cell phones. You're battling against, in the old days, before cell phones.
We didn't have cell
phones. But we had people applying makeup, reading the newspaper, shaving, or turning around in the back seat fussing at the children in the back. You just have to be their eyes and ears too. And not only are you worried about the safety of the students, but your body is out there and there is nothing protecting you from that car.
Yes.
So you just have to be totally alert and aware the entire time.
While there are many benefits to becoming a public safety aide, what are some of the other drawbacks?
Well, we've had various things happen over the years to the crossing guards that were in the crosswalk. I had one lady that was just hit head on and it knocked her up over the car and she had to have knee surgery. And we had a lady many years ago that was hit pretty badly over in the Huntsville High School area. So everybody has been very helpful in making us visible. And we do everything we can to train our people how to be visible. And that would include...
What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't care what your size is, you learn to be big in the street. You have your hands above your head when you're talking to traffic. We talk to traffic with our hands, and so we want them up where they can see them. It doesn't just blend in with your face or with your clothing. We walk around in our street intersection, and that, just that movement makes people pay attention to you. So, and then of course the whistles and the bright vest, and we learn to listen with our ears as much as using our eyes. So,
I wasn't sure if I was going to share this, but the other day I took my goddaughter to school for her mom over at Challenger. And of course, the line was long. And of course, one thing, you have to be patient.
yes, you do.
Everyone, you have to be patient when you're taking the children to school. So I'm in the right lane where I'm supposed to be, and I see the public safety aide up there, and she's giving directions, and and kids are crossing, and traffic is going. Well, on the left side of me, that traffic should simply be going straight.
Right.
Well, there was a car that came up and had her blinking light on to turn to the right. Well, she should have been in the lane that I was in. And my goodness, when the safety aide motioned us to move, she cut right in front.
There's another one of the drawbacks.
Oh my goodness. And went, and I thought, oh.
Yeah. And they do that. People do that. Typically, if you get there early, you're going to sit and wait. But within 10 to 15 minutes of school letting out, we have worked all the traffic off the streets, and they're in the process of getting back out again.
That's a good point. So you can figure on at least 15 minutes in line.
Yes, depending on
15
how
to
early
20.
you get there. If you get there 40 minutes early, you're going to
Well, you're
wait
gonna
40
wait,
minutes,
yes.
right? So, it doesn't hurt to wait until, if you live close and school gets out at 3 o'clock, leave your driveway at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
You're not going to have to wait long at all. And just let your child know that's what you're doing.
Sure, sure.
So.
Is there any other advice that you can give to our viewers, our parents, about the wait, or simply about how they should act as they're taking their children to school? I mean, I know you're dealing with so many different personalities, and everyone is in a hurry.
That's it, right. That's right.
But what is it that we can share with them?
Well, in the mornings, if you're experiencing deadlock traffic, if you'll come whatever time you normally leave, if you'll leave either 10 minutes earlier or 10 minutes later, because every school zone bottlenecks right about the same time. I can't tell you exactly when that is, but it's going to be, I would say, from 7:45 till right about 8 o'clock. And then it slows back down again. But everybody's trying to get to work, so they've got to drop Junior off and then go to work, and everybody thinks that theirs is the most important. And in actual fact, we don't play favorites. We don't look at drivers in cars. We look at a break. When we find a break is when we stop our traffic. We get people call and say, "She stops me every day," or "She's unfair." And
no kidding.
And it's just that they are possibly leaving a nice space between the cars, and that, thank you for doing that, because we have to have something like that so we can stop the traffic.
Sure.
Because we have to be sure that they see us and that we're aware of what they're going to do. And we can never guess what a car is going to do, because they may, like when you come up to a red light,
yes,
and you want to say, "Whoop, I'm just going to go on through." They do us that way sometimes too. Yes. So that's a drawback of the job too. And just show a little respect. Yes.
Respect and patience.
And remember that we're somebody's mama too.
That's true.
Or daddy. We have a lot of men that work for us
do you
too.
Really?
We do.
Okay, wonderful.
We do.
Wonderful. What are the working hours and for the job, and what happens when school is out?
Well, our school times are 7:15 to 8:05 in the mornings. And then the afternoons vary depending on if they're elementary, middle school, or high school. So elementaries typically start at 2:20 and they end at 3 o'clock. This year we've had several of the elementary schools have incorporated 6th grade, so they're now dismissing at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And they're 3 to 3:30. Middle schools are 3 to 3:30, and high schools are 3:10 to 3:40. So
you also, at the end of the year, in May, what happens?
We determine which schools, or the school board lets us know which schools are going to have summer school.
Okay.
Then we determine if they are going to need a crossing guard or not. If the crossing guard at that location wants to work summer school, they get first choice. If they don't want to, then we go by seniority and we man those posts. We put someone there until we deem that it is necessary, and if we don't have students crossing, more than likely we won't stay at that school. Because the road rules apply when nobody's there. Otherwise, our crossing guards are given an opportunity to work special events sometimes during the summer. That would just be on a Saturday morning. But other than that, many of them take vacation, and if they can't vacation that long, they find some type of a part-time job to hold them through the summer. Okay. It's sad we do lose people over the summer because they need income.
Work during okay. Well, is there any way in which they can get some extra hours?
Just the special events on the weekends. Now, during the school year, we have special events almost every Saturday.
Is that right?
And we assist the traffic task force units with that. And for example, for the Rocket City Marathon, in the past, we have 65 crossing guards working the marathon every year.
Oh.
And the route has changed this year, so we're anxious to see how many it will require now. Well,
Darlene, now that we know what's involved in the job, there I'm sure there are people out there that are interested in knowing how they might be able to apply for the job.
Well, that would be wonderful. We would love that. You can go to huntsvilleal.gov. It will bring up the City of Huntsville website, and you can, I'm not sure, everybody's first screen may look a little different according to their version on their computer, but there is a link to either Human Resources or Apply for a Job.
Okay.
And so click on that link, and it will take you to the application area. The name of the job that you want to apply for is Safety Patrol Aide. And it will come up and you fill it out, but be sure when you get to the bottom that you hit the save button or it's gone.
Okay.
Yes, if you don't save it, just like with any of our documents, it goes away.
Sure.
So, and then once they apply, that goes to Human Resources, and they send us the new applicants as they come in.
Okay. Now, what's the telephone number? Because oftentimes people will want to call and get more information.
Well, for my office, it's 256-427-5585 or 5586.
Okay, great. And we'll put that up on the screen a
Okay.
little later on. Now, what are the credentials for this job, and what type of person would you be looking for?
Well, we look for someone that's mature enough to watch all of these signs and everything that you have to have in the school zone.
Yes.
We do require a high school diploma or a GED. And also, because you're working for the police department, we have to do a background check. And anyone that has a criminal history or has been convicted of a crime will not be eligible.
Sure.
Our children are our best commodity, and we got to take the best care we can of them.
Absolutely. Is there any other specialty that you'd be looking for? Are you the one that would be interviewing as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You've been doing this quite a while now.
I have.
Yes. So I'm sure there's something special that you kind of, not special, but something particular that you look for.
It's just a maturity that we sense as we talk with people. You can tell where their interests are, and really we're looking for somebody that is particularly interested in the safety of the children. And
Okay. Well, obviously there's detailed training for this position. Tell us a little bit about that.
we start with the written word. We have a notebook that we give them that has a lot of details in it, and we teach them our hand signals. We do uniform hand signals. That's uniform for the whole world, so if we went somewhere else, they should be able to understand the hand signals that we use.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so this is something that once they learn it, if they move elsewhere,
Yes.
they could possibly
Yes.
apply for the same type of position.
Yes, and I have to say, we had one young lady that started here, and she moved to St. Louis.
Okay.
She applied up there, and they were so impressed with her that she's been given lots of responsibilities and getting a lot of work.
Kudos
we
to
were
you, right?
Well, no, for her. She was very timid when she started with us.
Is that right?
But you learn to be assertive.
Okay,
Either
sure.
that or you don't make it.
You don't make it,
We
yeah.
have about a 2-year mark. If we keep somebody for over 2 years, they usually stay with us. We had people this year that were recognized for 40 years service and 30 years service. We've had 6, I believe, that were able to retire.
Oh, goodness.
And so the longevity is there, but we have probably a third of the workforce that changes out within a 2-year period, which is very difficult. There's a lot of training involved. We do in the street training. We'll take them in front. We have a big long mirror in our office.
Do you?
We get in front of the
Okay.
mirror and we show them hand signals, and they do it with us, and then we take them out in the street and we train them in the street. We have orientation once a year, and we have everyone that was hired for that school year that has not been to an orientation before. We go to Bob Wallace and Triana on the Friday before school starts, and we teach them, we turn the light off and teach them how to direct traffic. And then someone goes with them to their post. And once they have learned how to do it on their post, the supervisors go through and make sure that they're good, and then we release them to work on their own.
Now, how many supervisors do you have?
There are 2.
There's 2. Okay.
There are 2. There's not much of a turnover in that area.
Okay,
so
that's good.
thank goodness.
Okay, we've talked about the duties, we've talked about the benefits, we've talked about the drawbacks and the training and how to apply. Elaborate, if you will, on the responsibility each public safety person has, and while they're in the street or on post.
Well, we're watching our surroundings all the time. And it's fairly important that motorists as well as the safety patrol aides look at each child as a walking caution sign. We can't predict what children are going to do, and they don't know what they're going to do until they do it. Okay. So if you come up and there's a lot of people in the crosswalk or on the sidewalks, slow down and wait, because one of them is going to push another one out in the street. So we're always on the alert for the unexpected.
I would imagine, too, one of the benefits of the job, of course, if you love children, the children get a chance to really bond with that. Oh,
they do.
That crossing aid,
they do.
Don't they?
Yes, they do. We tie shoes. Okay. We give hugs. They come and show us their report card.
Do they?
Yeah, or they just tell us, oh, guess what I saw on the way to school today? And so it's really special. You get to know them by name, and they're just really good to the crossing guards, and it's a good relationship.
Well, as a supervisor, what would you say to someone that's sitting there thinking, this might be something I would be interested in doing? I'll give you an opportunity to do a sales pitch here.
Well, it is a great job for stay-at-home moms.
Oh, okay.
For anyone that's retired and looking for something to do part-time. You get to meet, besides the benefits of knowing the children at the schools and all that, we work together on the weekends. You get to know the other crossing guards, and a lot of them go out to breakfast together before we go to an event on a Saturday morning.
Is that right?
And
okay.
And it's just enough income. It doesn't mess up your retirement supplement.
Okay.
And you don't have to buy anything for it. We provide everything.
Like you say, all they have to have are black socks?
Black socks. That's it. Everybody's got black socks. But also, it's a good job for homeschooling moms.
Oh.
Because, and you don't have to buy lunch. You can go home and eat lunch.
Okay.
You don't have to buy clothes. We provide that. You don't have to pay a babysitter. If you have children and you can leave them in their car seats in the back seat, that's fine.
Oh,
and
okay.
Most
right
of
there.
the guard, yes, you park their car right there at their post, and so.
Well, that's a good pitch there. And let's hope we can get some other interest. Although you've got 77 now.
We do. I will say it's not for the faint-hearted.
I bet.
But I've had people that I didn't think would ever make it, and there's just something about putting on the uniform and stepping into the street. It's like you go into a role play, and you do have authority.
Yes, yes.
We are completely backed by the police department. We have officers that patrol each school zone every day.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And they back us completely.
Yes. Now, where are you located?
My office is on Fiber Street. It's just off of Wheeler, across from the main building.
Okay, so that would be where they would come,
Yes.
one would come to interview.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Well, Darlene, believe it or not, our time has come to an end, and thanks so much for taking the time to share with this vital information with our viewers. And we want to thank you for joining us today. Please remember, for the sake of our children, when driving in and around the school zones, please be careful, watchful, and obey the signs of our public safety aides. That's our show for today. I'm Brenda Martin for Inside Huntsville. Join us again.